This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of the book Star Wars Brotherhood. This book released, I think, 2 weeks ago, or just under that, and I picked it up early last week. Actually, I think it was about a week ago from when this video is going out, and with it, I've read it over about a week, and I had a really good time reading it. I really enjoyed the book. If you have not read it yet, there will be spoilers, and if you're interested in reading Star Wars books, I would definitely recommend this one. And now let's get into it. And to start off, Star Wars Brotherhood is a really enjoyable book. I heard it was coming out, and once I had a chance to get to a bookstore, I did go and picked it up. And when I watched it, I really enjoyed watching it. It was a really good story. It was interesting to read, and I had a lot of fun. It follows the story of Anakin and Obi-Wan truly becoming friends and moving past their master and apprentice relationship. The evolution of the relationship in this is really great, but also we get to see how Anakin is changing as a character and see the impact of many things. It also has a few other characters, including a Nemoidian guard named, I believe it was Rug, although I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation. There was a Zabrak Padawan, no, Padawan youngling named Mill, and Asajj Ventress was there with her first real interaction with the Jedi. And yeah, this was all extremely interesting. It was a storyline I really did enjoy. Looking at some of the major parts of it, we take a look as part of Cato Nemoidia has been bombed. And the interesting thing is they never do figure out who is behind it. Although, with looking at it, being a fan of Star Wars, you would know it's almost certainly Palpatine, since it is someone that is trying to use both sides. And clearly, Palpatine is the one who does that. And although you can't confirm it 100%, Palpatine is the most likely person to be behind all of this. And just looking at a few other things that could happen. I mean, it could be, someone working for him. It could be Dooku, who is one of the only other people who knew about the connection to both sides. But I would doubt it. I feel like this is something Palpatine would do himself too. And go and just make things get worse because, well, he is the Sith Lord, and I think that is most likely him. But looking at some other things, yeah, I think this was an extremely interesting book. We get to see the evolution of Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship with them, still being a little uncertain about what their relationship will be like now that Anakin has become a Jedi Knight. And yeah, with this, I think it was interesting. We get to see a few interesting things like Dexter Jetster and the fact that he is a good friend of Obi-Wan and trying to help get information out to the Jedi. There's some great references to other books like Master and Apprentice. And although I haven't read many Star Wars books, I haven't really reviewed any of them. Well, besides this one. In fact, this is my first book review that is not Tolkien. and I took a quick break from the Silmarillion, which I think I'm maybe about a third of the way through, and I will be reading a lot more. I also just finished The Boys, although I think I'm already going to have a video out on that. It'll either be out, well, I probably would have put it out on either Saturday or Sunday because I have a lot of plans for videos this week. And I'm not really sure if I'm going to be putting this Boys video out, although I think that it should already be out by now. But yeah, I think that with it, I really enjoy what's happening in this. I think that it is interesting to look at how things have changed and to see evolution. Also, I was wondering in this if we get to see Anakin get his scar, although it looks like that did not happen yet. And a few other things that were interesting is that, although I didn't notice it when I was reading, I saw that Joe Paul and Cal Kestis were in the book. And there's also things that I missed while reading. But yeah, I think that it was still really interesting, and with it, there was great interactions. As we also got to see a sort of parallel to Anakin's fall when we see the character of Reg's apprentice. I don't really remember his name, but he basically was taken in by Ventress as she convinced him slowly that her thing was right and the Republic was broken, and basically had him convinced that he was doing the right thing, and even convinced him to go and bomb his home world so he could blame it on the Jedi and help with freedom for his people. And with this, it's an extreme parallel to what Palpatine does to Anakin. In fact, Palpatine is still currently doing it to Anakin at this point. And with it, it is really interesting to see. And I really do think it is interesting when looking at it because of how crazy things do get in this sense. You could tell it's manipulation, but also this is meant to be a parallel to Anakin and how he will eventually fall to the dark side. And with that, I think that it is really interesting to see, and something that I really did enjoy. It is subtle enough, and something I think is interesting. Another thing that is pushing this is that you should be believing the kind of prejudices put against different people, with them disproving how a Nemoidian has been typically seen. Since with Nemoidians, we have typically seen them evil Nemoidians who are just greedy cowards. But we learned that not all of them are like that, and there are a population that is really analytical and based everything on risk and reward. And that was interesting to see because you got a really different look at them. It is very similar to the way we get to see the Tusken Raiders throughout the Dave Filoni and John Favreau shows. That's getting a different look at them in The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, I think that is a really interesting thing to look at and have us get a different look at the people that we've never really got to see in Star Wars. And with it, I think that the other characters in it are interesting enough, but I really did care more about the characters of Obi-Wan and Anakin going into this, and that's definitely the highlight of this. Because all the other characters are good, I do usually get, maybe a little annoyed when I'm reading these and I see characters that are not as, you know, not the main characters of the book just getting their own chapters and stuff because everything feels a little weird, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, just, always just a little thing that annoys me when I initially start to read a little bit. But usually if the character is good, I'm fine, but if the character isn't good, it's really annoying because we're looking at the story of someone who isn't really related to the characters and just kind of put in there. But with these characters, I think it is interesting, and the majority of chapters do focus on Obi-Wan and Anakin, and I really like how they go and well, the authors had to go and switch between the two to go and to tell the story because with it you get to see how both Anakin and Obi-Wan think, and that is a really interesting way to write it, and something I really did enjoy. Yeah, with this, I think this is a really good book. Yeah, it's interesting stuff, and as I said, I think the most interesting thing is the fact that they don't go into tell who it was because the Jedi can't discover this. Although it could have been interesting to have a chapter fully from Palpatine or Dooku's perspective, where it gets fully confirmed what has happened. Yeah, with this, I honestly really enjoyed it. I loved going through it, and it was interesting in some parts, especially where Obi-Wan is forced to go and try and clear his name after he has been blamed for hiding evidence, which he sort of did, but that was because he was trying to verify it. And with this, I also just love how Anakin and Obi-Wan just get so much more respect and set themselves up for the future as we see them becoming generals and having it officially confirmed. With it, there are a few other things that get pretty interesting as they are given their armor they wear in the early seasons of the Clone Wars, and they say how it does not look comfortable. That was, pretty interesting thing. And then we also get to see Obi-Wan meeting Commander Cody, and that was also a cool thing to see. I was kind of wishing that we had Anakin meeting Rex early on in the book, but I think it was cool enough to see Obi-Wan meeting Cody, and that was definitely interesting. But yeah, I think that this really was such a great story. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend it. But I want to know what you think about this. Have you read this book yet? Have you not? And have you ever read any Star Wars books? Because I definitely would recommend it. Although Tolkien's are definitely my favorite. I have a bunch of Star Wars books and have most of the canon ones. Although I've stopped getting all of them now. I still have a good amount. And have a good amount of legends also. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what you think. So let me know in the comments. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.